the Sahel, west across and north and south. So this development of a more integrated trade pattern, and in our case we're concentrating on the trade in food and cereals to try and contribute to food security. There are now 10 million people in West Africa, of whom 7.7 million are in Nigeria, who are food short, who face food insecurity. And we really do not wish to see from the British Department for International Development and the international community, we don't want to see all of that resulting in dependency on food aid. There are lots of farmers and lots of enterprises in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Ivory Coast, in Burkina Faso, in Niger, who would like to work to meet these needs. And so what we need to do together is to work together to make sure that these new demands for food, which partly represent very rapid urbanization, for example in the northeast of Nigeria, where people can't easily get access to their land and where perhaps patterns have changed forever on who's producing from farming, who's working in a city. This means that the people within Nigeria, which is itself a very big country with 37 states, if you include the FCT, but with your neighbors, that people are very keen, the farmers and the enterprises, to help meet the Nigerian food needs and to help meet the food needs which have also built up in southeast Niger, where 500,000 people are short of food, and to meet the needs of the farmers and the communities in the north of Burkina Faso and in the center and north of Mali, for example, where there are food shortages. We would like to see that this would create opportunities in agriculture for women and for young people, especially the young men who might, if they're unemployed and not have gainful things to do, get interested in doing some of these other things which are destabilizing the north, part of the north of Nigeria and parts of the north of some of your neighboring countries in the Sahel. And we believe very strongly the solutions to this are not military. The solutions to this are to do with development. We strongly support the growth of the Nigerian economy. Nigeria is almost half of ECOWAS on its own. You play the same role in ECOWAS that Indonesia plays in ASEAN. You are the kingpin of an economic unit which is really starting to get moving. If Nigeria moves, it is the big one, then the others move too. If Nigeria holds back and has low average figures on economic growth or agricultural growth, then it holds back the development of the whole region. So we really do need that Nigeria is strong and that the British DFID continue to support strong agricultural development in Nigeria, but we'd especially like to see that you will benefit from trade as well as gain from trade. Trade is a two-way process. There are things you need and there are things you can sell. Wouldn't it be better if a lot more of these needs were met within the region and that your brothers and sisters in agriculture and enterprises in the region next to you would help meet your needs as well as buy things from you? This would make you much stronger, and it would then be much better, we think, for example, for the British economy, if we were able to then sell you equipment or financial services or to help make sure the whole thing is working and to earn our commercial returns from a successful Nigeria and a successful West Africa. We don't want you to be dependent on food aid or to fall down in this area. We want you to grow stronger. And I think that makes a lot of common sense. It fits in with what the Nigerian federal government and the state governments are trying to do now. I have worked with you myself since the 1970s. I lived here for 5 years. Quite recently, my children went to school here. I'm very confident in the future of Nigeria. I think you're going to make it. But with a bit more push and a bit more effort, Nigerian agriculture and Nigerian manufacturing enterprises manufacturing food products are going to do very, very well in the next 5 years. So we wish you a lot of luck, and we want you to know that we in Britain, through the Department for International Development, we are going to stand alongside you and help push.
Okay. In the course of your speech, you mentioned that 30 million pounds has been mobilized. What is that very money for?
All right. First of all, our actual budget, supported by the Department for International Development, is about £15 million, and about 7 million of that is just being distributed as concessional funds to help trigger growth of farmer groups and of enterprises in this kind of production. 3 of those large enterprises are in Nigeria, and they are busy processing maize and cassava and aggregating food stocks together for commercial purposes. But the the 30 million that we're talking about is additional to that, and somewhat to our surprise, that is the amount of money that the 12 enterprises we are now working with in the WAFM network, that they are attempting to mobilize to push into agriculture, farmers networks and processing. So if you look at the multiplier effect, we're helping to produce at least 4 times more effort from our side in total, actually. Twice as much money is coming from the private sector as from the British government already. That will be by 2019, and the continuing multiplier effects of that will be considerable. Individual companies within the WAFM network are already working sometimes on budgets of more than £20 million, and you already have successful enterprises here in Nigeria that are already exporting on some scale to Niger, and some of them actually to Western Europe and to America. But our main purpose is to help them build the regional trade, because we're sure that it's the development of the regional trade that's really going to bring success to your farmers and your enterprises.
Thank you very much.